Hi, I'm Jake, a mindfulness and meditation teacher.
And I'm Kate, a somatic movement facilitator. Welcome to Grief Relief, brought to you by Grief Gifts.
We know that grief can be an uncomfortable and overwhelming topic. After our own experiences of loss and years of helping clients navigate their grief journeys, we decided to provide a service for both people grieving as well as those supporting them.
In each episode, we'll explore different perspectives, share personal stories, and offer practical advice to help you navigate the complexities of grief.
Grief is a very nuanced topic, and we're here to get into all of it. So if there's anything specific that you'd like us to discuss, please drop them in the comments below.
And if you're ever in need of a thoughtful way to show your support to someone grieving, consider visiting our website linked below, griefgifts.io, where we offer curated gift boxes and digital resources designed to bring comfort and hope.
We thank you for joining us today. Let's dive in.
What it's like to grieve during the holidays. What would I want the people in my life to understand that especially if they've never gone through grief, especially during a holiday season, if they've never gone through that, then of course, how would they know the indescribable pain and heartache that comes with this season that's supposed to be about celebration? And there's this part of you that also that wants to participate, that maybe loves the holiday season, and you do have good memories of it and good associations with it. And so you're kind of stuck in this place of, I want to lean into the fun. I want to lean into this season that's been conditioned to be so exciting and fun and joyful, and yet at the same time you can't help but feel this heaviness of and dread of getting to the day of the holiday and having to go through all the motions of the traditions without this person. It's important to know that while they may want to be able to celebrate to some degree, nothing will ever feel the same to them again. To celebrate as if this huge pivotal experience has happened in their life, to just continue to kind of celebrate and do all the same things, as much as that'd be fun for you, and as much as you think, oh, maybe that will just get them out of their funk and to have fun, what's important for them is to know that it's okay to not be jolly, to not feel like that they have to celebrate or fake being happy, and that they can be sad. I think a lot of what I wish people who supported me had known is just give me the permission to be sad, not to, be the Grinch or Scrooge and bah humbug, because it's not that. It's not like, oh, Christmas sucks. There already is this almost melancholy energy around the holiday. Instead of trying to just do everything the same, make new memories, make new traditions with new people, even if it's just small, as a way to kind of break up the familiarity that really highlights the absence of that person there.
I would not want to negatively affect my loved ones during the holiday. And so, although I probably want to have some sort of holiday experience, I would withdraw. I would want an invitation to say, hey, I know it's a hard time this year. We want you here. No matter your emotional state, you're welcome. What's your advice for people who might want to do something like that, and for people who are supporting someone who might have that predisposition toward withdrawal and isolation?
It's about meeting each other, the supporter, in deep empathy and compassion, and take initiative of saying, all of you is welcome. Please come. I want to just, hug you. And the other thing too, there's so many layers to this, but going to a Christmas party sounds like the worst thing when you're grieving. Not for everybody, but I know I'm like, the last thing I want to do is pretend to have all of these like conversations with people that are also not grieving and pretend like I'm not having like the worst season of my life. And so in that case, you have every right to skip those holiday parties. I absolutely did. I had no interest in pretending to be happy or even being around people that are happy. You kind of look around the room and you're like, how is everyone happy when this huge devastating thing has happened? It's almost like the brain is kind of trying to grok at how life can just go on and people can feel so differently than you feel, even though of course that didn't happen to them. Logically it didn't happen to them. Maybe a small gathering with close friends who are all like, we want to hold you and hug you and just be with you through this. We know it's a hard time. For the supporter, know that most people who are grieving, if they do want to have any social experiences, it's either going to be one-on-one or a small group intimately that they know and trust and love. So if you are part of that small group, then absolutely insist like, hey, we're here for you, whether you want to just like be held and be loved and just make it about holding space for you, or we can, go out and go to dinner or go, see a movie or something like that and not make it about the grief, but just know that we're all together and you're allowed to just be sad with us.
Don't do surprises.
Oh,
don't pop.
gosh.
Don't surprise someone with a gesture about their lost loved one, or don't just kind of like spring the party concept onto somebody. Don't try to get them out and get them over it sooner, or encourage them to bury their emotions. To me, the concept of early communication around Christmas and holiday parties is that you say, hey, here's the plan. We would love to have you there. You don't have to show up as some version of yourself that's wearing the happy mask. You can be whoever you want, and you are absolutely welcome to be there, and you'll be loved through it. We have no expectations. And if you don't want to come, that's okay too. You get to make that decision for yourself. And I think that's sometimes a supporter just wants to fix, and so that's their go-to reaction is, oh, this person that I care deeply about is hurting, and it's the holiday party, and let's get them out of their shell. Let's get them to forget about their pain by having so much fun that they forget, and like that's their attempt to fix. And if you don't want to come, you have my full permission and support when the entire family experienced the loss. What do you think about ways to show respect and honor to the family member or the loved one that has passed?
It's going to be different for each family and each individual, and there might even be different feelings in families where some people want to honor them, some people want to just same old, same old. This takes a lot of evolution and self-awareness, and I know it's not anyone's job to be responsible for a family or each family member's evolution and ability to hold such difficult things as grief. Everyone is going to have their own coping mechanisms that you can agree with or strongly disagree with. What feels like a tradition that I did specifically with my loved one that feels too painful to do without them? And there is some, like, I still haven't been able to watch Love Actually. It was my dad's favorite Christmas movie, and we watched it every Christmas, and that was such a big part of our life. He loved it. We got up and did the Hugh Grant dance. Maybe the person loved Christmas so much and they always went out of their way to do something very special and specific. Maybe it was cooking a certain dish, or decorating the house a certain way, or leading some activity. And while maybe the first year or few, it feels too painful to do that, when there's a consensus with the family, again, not surprising anybody with it, but putting it up and getting consent, right? Because if it's a family, it's not just your loss, it's everyone's loss. So you want consent, being like, hey, what if we cooked, grandma's specific dish this year? Or what if we did the activity that dad did, or did put this that mom always put on the tree, and how would everyone feel about that, and asking for that consent, and not just taking it upon yourself to do that, which could potentially trigger other family members in a way that no one wants. And I think at family gatherings, talking about grief is about consent, especially when there's people that relate to grief so differently. And then of course you get into the dynamic where you say, okay, can we do this year? And you have half people that want to and half the people that don't. Maybe it's not the right year to do it yet, or it's obviously such a case by case basis, or maybe there's something small that you could do, or maybe for the family members that want to do that, there's just something you guys could personally do in maybe a smaller group. And so you get to kind of sense it out and see where people are in their grief journey, because not everyone's going to be in the same place every year. Respect where people are. That's also the thing, is if someone does not give their consent to honor their grief, especially in front of others, then respecting that. And sometimes that's the hardest part, especially when you want to honor somebody so badly and you're like, I need to do this, and someone's like, I'm not okay with doing this. How can you respect what they need while also honoring what you need? And that's when you get creative.
There's no wrong way to grieve. There's no proper timeline or order of operations for the grief experience. And that's something that I feel like is often kind of projected onto people who are grieving, like, oh, it's been 6 months, are you not over this yet? The most careful and thoughtful way, in my opinion, to show up is just to be there. I'd love to see more people step up and just say, I don't know what to say, but I just want you to know I love you.
And I think that's the perfect thing to end on, is because most people just want to know, what do I say? What do I say? I don't know what to say. I don't want to make it worse. Supporting someone who's grieving brings up a lot of mortality and grief for yourself about your life and your loved ones and everything like that. And sometimes that's hard to be with. And by acknowledging someone else's grief, you have to be with your own. I mean, that's the definition of compassion, is to suffer with. And so why compassion is more difficult thing to embody than I think most people think is because it requires you to be present with your own suffering and your own discomfort, avoiding saying, I'm sorry for your loss. That's the default thing that everyone says. And especially if it's, for example, if you're at a holiday party and this person suffered a loss recently, but you don't know them that well, and this is the only thing you're really saying to them during the night because you see them once a year at this holiday party, and you're just like, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. I know that's like the default thing. Instead of saying that, if you knew anything about this person who passed away at all, compliment them. People love to hear about the positive things and the impact that this person they loved had on other people. And if you know anything about that person, just complimenting, oh, they were such a good father, by reaching out to someone and even just acknowledging, I want you to know I'm sending you love. I'm thinking about you. I know this is probably a really difficult time of the year, and my heart goes out to you and your family.
Thank you for spending time with us today. We hope it brought you some relief.
We believe that talking about grief, while sometimes painful and uncomfortable, is so important. We look forward to continuing these conversations together.
If you found this episode helpful, join the conversation by letting us know what you think in the comments below. As always, consider liking and subscribing to see more content like this.
If you're curious about ways to use mindfulness, meditation, and somatic practices to help navigate your grief journey, click the link below and check out our grief relief e-gift.
And if you're looking to send someone grieving a meaningful gift, our curated gift boxes are very thoughtful and impactful. Take good care, and we'll see you next time.